Hey guys, this is EgboJ20 back on another video, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the Bolt app. Yeah, the Bolt app, the app for transportation and all that stuff. It's like Uber though, but I'm gonna review the app. And also, just before I start this video, bear in mind that this video is all based on my own opinions and usage of the Bolt app. Your experiences and opinions might differ from mine. Okay, so one thing I love about the Bolt app is the fact that the design of this app is really good. It's so minimalistic. Like, I really love the design so much. Some of you might like it or hate it, but for me personally, I love the design of the Bolt app. At least it's better than that first app that I designed. But anyway, the design is very good, and cheers to the devs of the Bolt app for designing a really good app. So one feature I really like about the Bolt app is the fact that you have the option to either pay with cash or card. Now there are some apps that is strictly either like cash or strictly their card in most cases, but I like for that they give you the option to use either one of them that you have on ground. So this is really nice, so you won't be left out. Like, if you don't have any cash, you can just use your card or vice versa, and this is really nice. Yeah. So another feature I really love about the Bolt app is the fact that you have the option to rate and review drivers, and this is really nice. So if you're someone who like loves the driver that you rode with, you can just rate the driver maybe a 4 to 5 star, but if you didn't like your ride, maybe a 1 to 2 star or something. And even when like a driver is picking up, you can always see like their reviews, like, and this is really nice. I really love this app for doing that. Now this is one important feature that I like and I use on this app. So this is the share ride details. Like, for example, like if you're on a boat ride now, you're able to share your details with your friends and family so that they can know where you are. So this is what I always do whenever I'm on a boat. I always share my ride details with my family members so that they can know where I am for safety reasons. And this is very good for protection because not many places are safe, to be very honest with you. So you need to stay safe, and at least so that they can track you easily, so that like you have some help and all. So that's why I really love this feature. One feature that I also like is the fact that you're always able to change the location of where you want to go to at the middle of the ride. Like, this happened to me, like, so one time, like, I wanted to go to the bank, so I went to the wrong location, and then I had to change the location in the middle of the ride. It's something I really like because some of these other transport apps might not allow you to change the location in the middle of the ride, like in case you go to the wrong place. So this is actually really good, even though you have to pay extra for each time you do that thing, depending on how far or near that place is. But this is actually good for those people who might end up wanting to change where they want to go to at the end of the day. So this is one important feature that I like about the Bolt app. You're able to see the identity of your driver before they pick you up. So if the driver should accept the ride that you like are looking for, they accept your ride, you're able to see their face and their license plate and the car that they're using as well. So that way you will know like who's picking you up. And even on the Bolt app, they tell you that you have to make sure that the driver's identity matches what you see in real life. So you have to make sure that the license plate and their face matches what you see on the app. Well, this feature here is obviously obvious to most of us. So what I love about both is the fact that they use Google Maps. So the good thing about them using Google Maps is the fact that Google Maps always updates itself like on a daily basis. So new places can always be added, and this is very like nice. Like, I love the fact that they use Google Maps because there are actually some riding apps that they don't even like update where their locations are. Like, if somewhere new should open, it might not even update it. But this is something I really like about the Bolt app because they use Google Maps. So this is really good so that you can easily like know where places are and all that. Like, this is nice. And finally, one feature I love about the Bolt app is the fact that they give you the option to use promo codes. Like, in some cases, some promo codes can get activated on like special days or events or something like that. Maybe if you're a new user, they can give you some promo codes. Like, sometimes where you don't even expect it, they can just give you a promo code, and that's something I really like. Like, I've not really seen other apps do this. Like, for me, since I've Since I only have like access to both. But I used to use OPay before. That's when OPay used to do the right thing, and they weren't doing stuff like this, even though they were cheaper than both, to be honest with you. But still, there were not really any promo codes. But this is something I really like, promo codes. Who doesn't like a promo code? So now that we've talked about the good things about the Bolt app, we have to talk about some of the negatives as well that can actually be fixed that I personally don't like. Now, one thing I really don't like about Bolt app is some of the drivers. Now, just a disclaimer, if you're a Bolt driver and you're watching this video, please, I'm not trying to say that all of you are bad. There's some of you that are really, really sweet people, like really sweet and nice people. Some of you are okay. Some of you are really helpful. Like, for me, I appreciate what you Bolt drivers do. It's not easy to just come out in the morning, keep driving your car everywhere to buy fuel, to start picking people. Some people might just cancel your ride and then you just get angry and all. So I understand how that feels. Like, even though I'm not really a Bolt driver, I don't really know what all of you go through, but you all are really, really, really sweet. But unfortunately, there are just some of you drivers, not all of you, because some of you are sweet, but some of you Bolt drivers can just be really frustrating, to be very honest with you. So I'm gonna share some story time about some Bolt drivers that really frustrated me. So just bear in mind, okay? So I'm just gonna narrow it down to just 3 instances about when some of these things happened to me. So just listen to my story, okay? Some of you might have similar stories and you can leave them in the comments below. So let me start with story number 1. Okay, so one day I was going to like basically collect a package, so I wanted to go back using the Bolt app. So I called the Bolt driver. When I called the Bolt driver, like I told him to come to like the post office because that's where I was. So then he accidentally went to the wrong post office, and okay, this was my fault. I accidentally told him to go to the wrong place, and he not initiated the ride. When he initiated the ride, like I told him that he was in the wrong area, that it was my mistake and all that. So okay. So then I told him the right place to go to. So then he was not around that place where I was supposed to be picked up from. So I now called the guy and told him, please, can he come close? He told me that he just had to just go a little down the road, and that's where I was. So I was calling the guy. He wasn't picking his phone. I was looking for the guy. I stood out of that post office. I was calling the guy. He wasn't picking his phone at all. I was texting. I was calling the guy. The guy did not even respond to any of my texts. The guy's like boat was just on the road. It wasn't moving at all. Like I was calling this guy, texting him, please, where are you, and the guy didn't even pick anything. So because I was rushing to go back home, I canceled the ride and just found another car to use and go back home. Now the second story was like this. So I wanted to just go back to school. So basically I called a Bolt driver. So I told them that they should come to my house and pick me because I was at my house, so that they could take me back to my school. So then I was calling this Bolt driver. This guy was not picking up like his phone at all. Like the guy stopped like on like my street, but he was like really, really, really far. I was trying to call the guy, said he could just drive down to where I was. He stopped at one place. I was trying to call this guy, but this guy wasn't picking his phone at all. I was really, really angry because I had to rush back to school because we have like a curfew and all that stuff. So I was rushing. So then this guy wasn't even picking his phone. I got so angry that I just had to cancel the ride and find another car to take me back to school. Like, cause I hate when these drivers do some of these things. Like, and I was gonna pay a lot of money for the Bolt, but still, like, I hate that stuff. Okay, and this is the final story, number 3, and this is, to me, is like the worst one. Okay, so I just finished coming out from the bank and I had to go somewhere. So then what happened was that I was able to get a Bolt. So the Bolt kept on like moving in another direction. I was trying to call this guy. This guy was not even answering his phone at all. Trying to call the guy on the app and on his phone. This guy wasn't picking his phone at all. I kept on calling. The guy wasn't picking. The guy kept on going to another direction. Then he now started turning back to where I was, like to the bank direction. So then I was now waiting for this guy. I said, okay, probably because like where he was in like a high traffic area. So I was waiting for this guy. So then finally, he now reaches the road where the bank is. So then I now stand outside the parking lot of the bank looking for this guy. And then the worst thing, the guy now initiated the ride when I wasn't even inside the ride. And then he starts going to another location, not even to where I want to go to. Out of anger, I just canceled the ride and then found another Bolt. Like, why bother accepting the ride when you won't even take that person? Like, why bother? It's very stupid, to be honest with you. If you know you want that money, why not just take the person you want, or just cancel the ride to begin with if you don't even want to do the ride at all, to be very honest with you. But still, boat drivers, some of you are really, really sweet. So this isn't really most of you, but some of you people that have frustrated me, but y'all are still sweet though. Now, this is one other thing I really hate about the boat app, is when there are a lack of drivers to take you to where you want to go to. I've had a situation where I had to go back to school again because, curfew and all that stuff. So then I was looking for a boat, and all the boats were unavailable, even the most expensive one unavailable. I didn't even know what to do at that point. Like, I had to now just find a keke to go back to school with. Like, there are some times where there'll be no car available at all, and you're just like, what should I do in this case? Like, it's something I really hate, but it might not really be the fault of both. Maybe there might not be enough drivers or something like that. So I don't know who's in the wrong here, but still. Okay, so this is one problem with the boat app that actually needs a real solution. Okay, so one thing I really don't like is when now, like, you initiate a ride with a boat driver and then they still have to call you to know where you are. Okay, so let me just be honest with you. Like, I've been a victim of this, like, myself. So there's a time that a boat driver initiated my ride, and well, I kind of confused the driver as to where I had to, like, where I was and all that. So then I actually felt bad because the driver was really angry that he said he's wasting his fuel and everything like that. So this was my fault because I didn't really direct the guy properly, but still. So basically, this is one problem on this app that can be solved. So on the boat driver app, what should be done is that, like, like that voice when, like, you want to use Google Maps to find the direction of somewhere and they tell you to take a right here, take a left there. The same thing can be done on the boat app. Like, for the boat driver app, they should integrate that same thing so that way drivers will have to reduce the amount of times that they call us, the customers, so that way it will be easier and more effective, in my opinion. So one problem I have is also with the boat balance. So basically, like, boat balance is like when now that you can fund your boat app and then you can use that to, like, basically pay for boat rides without having to use your card. But then for me, I really want to fund this thing, but I can't fund it out because there's no option on this app to fund your boat balance. Now, you can still use your card. For me, like, I use my card in some cases where I want to, like, use a boat. But still, like, this should be there because, like, for me, I just want to use it because it can actually help me to save money. Because I can just fund this thing separately and then, like, still have without, like, having to use, like, the money in my account, like I'm trying to save and all that. But, like, this is something that should really be fixed in the future, so I'm waiting on that one. Okay, so this is one thing that should also be fixed on this boat app. I hate when they say ride will be calculated at the end of the ride. Like, that's when you, like, change the location of where you want to go to. So as I stated earlier in the video, like, one time I was going to the bank and then I had to change the location, so I paid extra. But I wasn't angry that I paid extra. I hate the fact that they don't calculate this thing. Like, they have to calculate this thing at the end of the ride. So why can't this thing be calculated during the ride? Like, if they can calculate how much you're meant to use to go from somewhere to this place, why can't the same thing apply? So, like, if you change the location, like, it shouldn't be calculated at the end of the ride. For me, I believe that it should still be calculated during the ride so that you know how much you're going to spend, instead of seeing the insane amount. Like, to be very honest with you, this in my opinion should be changed. Now, this is one problem with the boat app. Like, for me personally, I haven't experienced this before, but I actually know someone who almost experienced this thing but didn't get scammed. So there are some things that some boat drivers do that they try to scam people. So I watched this video on YouTube right here where this guy was talking about the experience he had where he almost got scammed by a boat driver. Okay, so let me just tell you how the scam works. So basically, this happens when you use your card to pay. So if you use your card to pay for a ride, and then you now get your boat, and as you're driving, like, with the boat, the driver will say, hey, please, I need cash. Can you cancel the ride? So that way you can pay in cash. Then what happens is that they will now cancel the ride. when they cancel the ride, the boat driver will just keep on driving in like circles, doing as if they don't know where they're going to. Then finally, once you reach that destination, they'll tell you to pay like maybe double or triple what you're supposed to pay initially. So for example, let's say now you're meant to pay 1,000 naira for a ride, and then this thing happens to you. You can end up seeing yourself paying something like 3,000 or 4,000 or even 5,000 naira because they're just trying to cheat you. Now this is something that's really really bad. I know that many of you might want to say, hey, how can someone fall for this thing? But surprisingly, a lot of people fall for this stuff, which is why you should be careful. Which is why if you're using boat, you have to know where you're going to, because once you cancel your ride, boat does not recognize you as their customer at all. And once you cancel that ride, then they can do whatever they want. They can scam you or hurt you or do something bad. So which is why, if any driver should ever say something like that to you, leave that ride and find another driver. That's something that you should do. If anyone should ever do that thing to you, just ignore them, because you shouldn't get scammed. Like, it's very very bad. Okay, so finally, this is one thing that should really be fixed with this app. I don't like the fact that you cannot remove your old debit card. So at some point in time, like, I got another card and I added it to the boat app, but however, I cannot remove that old card. I want to have the option to remove that old card so that I won't get confused as to which one is the old one and the new one, to be honest with you. Like, one time I almost selected the old card to be charged when that one is not even working anymore. So please, boat app, if you can have that option for us to remove debit card, because I don't like having my old debit cards there, because it's just somehow to me. So if that can be done, something can be done about that, then okay, thank you. Anyway, that's all for today's video. Comment on your experiences with the boat app, things you like and dislike about the app, and I hope I see you guys next time. Peace out.